Today's video is sponsored by Jackery and the Jackery HomePower 3600 Plus, designed specifically for modern households of 3 to 6 people, combining power, safety, portability in one complete home backup package. Today I want to make an interesting fire poker by forge welding a railroad spike onto a longer bar that will then be drawn out for the shaft of the tool, and the railroad spike will become the handle. Maybe we'll put a Rubik's Cube twist in this just for a little bit of extra detail. Now, unfortunately, they're doing a lot of work down the road, doing a fire mitigation project, and the power company is shutting the power off so they don't start a fire by dropping a tree over the lines or taking lines down. And a lot of our days are spent kind of randomly without power. So my plan today is to get all of the electrical power for this process using the Jackery HomePower 3600 Plus that was provided by Jackery. Jackery's essential home backup solution powers your home and essential devices during an outage. Luckily, the Jackery 3600 power station is ultra portable and rolls effortlessly from one place to the other. So it's easy to bring it up here to the other shop and do some work with it up here and take a look at some of the features of the Jackery. And while I find something like this to be outstanding for working in the shop that doesn't have any electrical power, or working up here when the power is out like it has been off and on so far today, this is really the ideal thing to power your home during a power outage. And if you live someplace where you have natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, wildfires, blizzards, any of that kind of stuff, this will keep your household running while you wait for the power to come back on. This will keep the average refrigerator for a family of 3 running for up to 14 days. That's really pretty spectacular. But additionally, it'll run a lot of small appliances. This will run a coffee pot, crock pot, toaster oven, any of that kind of stuff, so you can still cook, still function. And of course, it'll keep the lights on so you can work around the house, as well as keeping your mobile devices charged so you can keep up with the news and know what's going on if you are in that kind of an emergency. The Jackery HomePower 3600 Plus has 4 120 volt 20 amp circuits, 120 volt 30 amp circuit, 2 USB-C plugs, and 2 USB-A plugs. So you can set up a lot of stuff on this simultaneously. It also has surge protection to protect your devices, and this can be expanded both in battery capacity and output capacity up to 21 kilowatt hours. The next gen heat-resistant ceramic membrane battery will provide 6,000 plus cycles, delivering over 10 years of durability. This is a long-term investment to last 10 plus years, not just an emergency gadget. Even with daily use, the battery still retains 70% capacity after 10 years and includes a 3-year standard warranty with a 2-year extension, far above industry standards for long-term peace of mind. Jackery did send out the Solar Saga 500 Plus panels, which is an ideal pairing for this. I have them set up with the hinges that they come with, so they just kind of sit on the ground. They're really easy to deploy. You don't have to leave them out all the time, although they are waterproof, and it's not going to hurt them if they get left out in the rain. But this way you can set them up when and where you need them. If you want to use this for your RV or a weekend cabin, something like that, it would be the ideal solution, and the panels would be easy to take with you to keep this charged up so you have plenty of power. However, if you wanted to, those panels do have mounting holes, so you could put them on a rack or tie them to a deck rail, so they're up in more of a conventional flat configuration, just up to what you want to do with them. This does qualify for up to a 30% federal clean energy tax credit. So that would really help offset the cost of buying something like this. But also during the upcoming Prime Big Deal days, October 7th and 8th, you can save up to 65% with the link in my video description. I want to work over here in the little shop because the forge blower in this forge has an actual plug on the end of it, whereas the coal forge in the main shop is hardwired, and I can't just plug it into this battery backup. So this is an excellent solution not only for backup power in this shop, but for full-time power because there is no electricity in this shop to start with. I'm going to start by putting a scarf on the end of the railroad spike and the end of the bar. It's common to upset the bar before you do the scarf. However, in this case, because I'm going to be drawing this down and making it thinner in the long run, I don't feel like I need to go ahead and scarf it first. It's okay if it gets a little bit thin. This will be a drop tongs weld, and it pays to rehearse the weld before you bring it up to a welding heat. I'll go ahead and get these hot and flux them, then I'll bring them up to welding heat. As with any weld, this starts with lighter blows, and once it's stuck, you can start using heavier blows. Otherwise, it's liable to slip and you won't get the weld. While this end of the bar is hot, let's go ahead and do the twist pattern. I'm going to start this by chiseling down either side of two opposite corners. Now you may be wondering, why not just use an angle grinder to cut these grooves? That is certainly an option. It does leave a little bit different look depending on how you create cuts like this. Chisel displaces material, the angle grinder removes material. That may or may not be an issue. If you're working hot and you're going to go right back to hot work after you're done cutting the groove, it's more efficient to cut it with a chisel because you don't have to wait for it to cool and then bring it back up to heat again. You just keep it at heat and keep working with it. Now I am going to use an angle grinder with a cutoff disc to cut the little cubes, so it really wouldn't have been a big deal this time. But I was already working hot at the anvil, and I think you'd probably rather see me use a chisel than an angle grinder. So I'm going to lay this out, show you how I cut the cubes, but I probably won't show cutting the whole thing, because that is just me using an angle grinder, and that can be kind of boring. These are going to be little itty-bitty cubes on this. I'm laying them out at 1/4 inch intervals, and I will cut directly on the line. That should leave roughly a 3/16 cube for each of these, so they're going to be very small. It's just a little bit, so I want to straighten it using a rawhide mallet on a wooden block. This keeps me from damaging the crisp edges of these cubes. Now I want to put a little bit of a fuller in just down from the handle to create a transition point between the handle and the shank of the tool. Now we can certainly do all of this drawing out right here at the anvil by hand. But since I'm testing out the Jackery power supply, I think it'd be fun to take it over to the main shop and see if it will run the power hammer. Now, not the big power hammer, that's a 240 volt unit, and the Jackery HomePower is only 120 volts. But I'm pretty sure it will be able to run the little giant power hammer. So let's head over there and try that out. I think this should be able to run that for us, and will work in the atmospheric gas forge, which doesn't require electricity anyways. This is a lot longer than I want it to be. Instead of cutting it hot on the Hardy like I might normally do, I'm going to let it cool down and use a chop saw just to see if the Jackery will run the chop saw. think it's worth taking the time to make the hook end look kind of elegant. Well, there is a version of the Rubik's Cube twist. I've seen lots of different things called the Rubik's Cube twist, so there's a lot of variables here. And I think this turns out really well. I think this is a great use for a railroad spike to make a handle for a tool like this. And I thought I was paying really close attention to what I was doing. When you hold on to the handle, the tendency is going to be to have the long part of the railroad spike head down by your fingers. And I wanted the hook to go that same direction, and I got it 90 degrees off. What's the solution? I can either untwist this 90 degrees, which I don't think would look good. I can twist it another 270 degrees, which I think would be way too tight. I don't think I would like that. So I think the solution is to just put another twist down in here and twist that until it lines up, and I like that twist. It just depends on how long it is. If it's a longer twist, it'll need more twists. If it's a shorter twist, it'll need less. And I think I'll do that the next time I fire up a forge. I've let the forge cool off now, and it's getting late in the day. So I think we're going to call this good for the video, but I do need to fix that problem. Once again, I'd like to thank Jackery for supporting the videos here at Black Bear Forge and for sending out the HomePower 3600 Plus along with the Solar Saga 500 Plus solar panels. This is going to be a great asset, not only in the shop, but also in the house, and I will probably keep it in the house unless I needed to get something done in the shop when the power's out. Keep my phone charged up, charge camera batteries, charge light batteries, which is where most of the light for this video has been coming from, so it has more than enough power to run all the tools required to do a project like this and to get a full day's work in the shop. So thanks again, Jackery. Thank you for stopping by to watch the video. I really appreciate that. Hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, have fun, but stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next video.